Welcome to Cigar Church. My name is Dan, and as you can see, I'm by myself today, and that is because this is a special edition of Cigar Church. Today we're going to be taking a little tour down in Tampa, Florida of the Grand Cathedral Cigar Lounge. If you've never been there, it's a magnificent place. So if you find yourself down in that area, I would highly recommend going by there. It's a beautiful building. They have a great selection of cigars. They're very friendly, and hope you enjoy.
It was built in 1907. You'll see different articles. Articles we have on both since 1907. So if there's an R60, you'll hear R1820 one. It started at the first congregation church here in Florida, here in Tampa. This entire area was basically pretty wealthy, and everybody would meet here for church, obviously. It lasted for about 50 years. A lot of the rich folks kind of moved towards the south end, which are probably still there right now. So the Polish American Club took over, and that lasted for about 20 years. It was kind of like a dance hall. Sundays they would meet over here, have drinks, and dance, the whole 9 yards. And then that lasted for 20 years. And then it became, they tried to make it a missionary. And I guess the city of Tampa told them, no, you can't because there's no sprinkler system in here. Well, obviously the city. Yeah. So it was always where it takes someplace. In 1989, 90, it caught fire. I think it caught fire twice, but during that time, it took about, several hours and 25 firefighters just to put it out. And actually some of the soot is on the back wall. You can see certain areas. And then in 2004, Nick Watchell came in and basically kind of resurrected it. Used parts of the church to kind of bring it back together, turned it into an art studio. And then most recently, before we took over, it turned into a real estate agency. So it's seen a couple different phases over the years. So the owners are from San Diego, California, and they were thinking about coming to Florida originally. They just didn't know where they were going to go, East Coast, West Coast, South End, North, whatever. And they found this on the internet, just looking through the internet. And they always envisioned the church, the cigar lounge, whatever they found this, and then they put two and two together. When you talk about your vision, and then you talk about the city of Tampa being the cigar capital of the world, it actually makes sense. Yeah. So they came over here, and everything that you see here is what they put into the building, all the wood. It's beautiful. See the humidor. Beautiful. And it just took off from there. We had a soft opening in January of 2021. Our grand opening was in May of that year, and we've been running since. And Carlito Fuente Jr., Arturo Fuente Cigars, is partners with us. And that's why we see so much Arturo Fuente, and you'll see Norse flag around the building. But it's pretty incredible. We get all walks of life coming through here from all over the United States, or actually across the country. Mm-hmm. So you're from the beginning? I was here. Well, I started working in January of last year. I'm a retired police officer. Oh, cool. With the city of Tampa. No problem. I met the owners weeks before they opened up, and we just kind of built a friendship from there. And when the general manager just came open, it's kind of happened organically. So it's been a good run so far, and it's pretty incredible. You'll see the owners here are incredible supporters of military and first responders. When you walk into the main lounge, look over to the right, you'll see our entire patch wall, amongst other things. But this is the Humidor right here. We have probably about 35 facings, thousands and thousands of cigars, and all those cigars are pretty much the family-owned cigars. For Arturo Fuente, J.C. Newman, Ashton, Placencia, Padron, they're all pretty much in there. I think when people realize that you come in, you can smoke a cigar, you're not judged or anything. Well, who knows? You could be sitting next to the CEO of a company.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. It just kind of winds you down. You know, it's a great decompressor. I remember when I was on the police department, anytime we had a chance at the end of the night or midnight, in the middle of the night, we would smoke a cigar, kind of decompress, talking about the different storage. Yeah. It's funny because when I was in Tampa, the canine guys, some of them smoked, but most of them didn't. And then when we were meeting up at night, we would call like 10:30, 11:30, just grab a drink. Non-alcoholic, you know. So we would get together and I would sit there and start smoking a cigar. Because at that point, you know, the calls would kind of calm down a little bit. And next thing you know, I'm giving out cigars. Next thing you know, everybody's smoking cigars. So it's pretty cool. That's a good way, like I said, to decompress. And I think that's why a lot of police officers are so drawn to the cigars, period. We have, myself was retired. We have Dominic DePinto, who is not here right now. He'll be here later today. He was a retired sergeant out of Jersey City. One of our other cigar guys, Jeremy, is retired out of the state of Washington. So it's, yeah. I mean, we just get a lot of cops that come in here. How old was you to plead for our license? I'm sorry? How old was you? 25. Out of the recently done to the respondents. Yeah, we were local. Yeah, Tampa PD, and then the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office in Corolla. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool transition. Listen, all jobs have their own stresses and their own challenges, but this is way different. This is a way different ball game compared to the police department. A lot less red tape too. So it's been a nice transition.
Hey guys, we're here in Humidor at Grand Cathedral, and all I can say is, wow, this is awesome. I mean, I don't know where to begin. You can see here they got their own house sticks. Listen to their sweet tip they're out of. They had a big party out here last night, so they got to restock the shelves. We got some Corojos over here. They have, I think, Maduros and Connecticut's on the other end. Those be really good house blends. I'm going to check them out, let y'all know. Look over here, Dan. Show them this. This is the rare Opus X table that you won't see nothing like this anywhere else. This is crazy. I mean, wow. That is a lot of Opus X's. Our cigar lounge would get maybe one box limited every so often. Just look around. This is nice, very nice. You got some Casa Cubas up here.
So I hope you enjoyed that little tour. I know that we enjoyed doing it. And again, it was too bad that Clay couldn't join us. He actually was there literally 3 or 4 days after we had left. And he was able to enjoy the lounge as well. But for us, it was just a lot of fun to meet the new people, and to tour that magnificent lounge. They're very friendly people. If you live in that area, I think I would definitely recommend looking into memberships there. That member lounge was, bar none, probably one of the best ones I've ever seen. And the bar was great. The drinks were good. We were able to enjoy a smoke while we were there. So if you ever find yourself in that area, give them a shot. Didn't want to leave out the spiritual aspects, as this is Cigar Church. But we wanted to make sure that we had a little devotion during this special episode. And so the scripture I'm going to read from today is in Matthew chapter 10, verse 32 and 33. And it says this: "Therefore, whoever confesses me before men, him I will also confess before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, him I will also deny before my Father in heaven." And, sometimes that can come across as a bit harsh. I know sometimes we look at it and say, well, I don't want to be denied. I don't want Jesus saying, I don't know who this guy is. But I think there's a better way to frame this. So in our time down in Florida, we were able to visit several different cigar lounges. Steve and I were. And, it was a wonderful place. We didn't get a chance to video those places, but, we had a good time there. And this is not a shameless merchandise plug, by the way, so I promise I'm not trying to do that. But one of the things that we actually have in our store is a shirt that we use. We actually use components of on our business cards. And the shirt has the Spurgeon quote on the back that we use every week. And then the front has the Cigar Church logo with Charles Spurgeon's visage on the front there. But anyway, on the back, it talks about, he's going to go home and smoke a fine cigar for the glory of God. And so Steve was wearing that shirt, and we were in a lounge, and he had walked over, I think he was going to go look at a menu or something, and somebody saw the shirt. And they made a comment about it, and it was an open opportunity for us to talk to the guy, well, mainly Steve, because I wasn't actually with him at the moment. I was sitting at the table. But they were able to sit and talk for just a moment about Cigar Church, and the guy was really excited about it, and he wanted to know where he got the shirt at. But my whole point was this. I can remember years ago when I was a lad, that the Christian T-shirt fad was a big thing, and a lot of youth wore Christian T-shirts, and the whole point was I'm going to spread my faith without saying anything. And sometimes it was the icebreaker, if you will. But in this case, it was something that was showing kind of what we're all about as far as Cigar Church, which was enjoying a fine cigar, but also enjoying the presence of Jesus and discussing him in those settings. And so when we were, in that environment, he saw the shirt and it immediately opened that doorway to talk about it. And it's one of those things that I feel like when Jesus was talking about in that scripture, that if we confess him before men, I think that's the big crux of it. I think in that case, when we're, in that public setting and we're seeing people, and interacting with people, if it comes up, always look for those opportunities, because those opportunities may present themselves. It could be at a grocery store, could be anywhere, anywhere you go, you could always have an opportunity, and you never know what's going to spurn that opportunity. So I think, that's what, to me, that scripture is important about, because what we want to do is to make sure that we're ready in those times. Because sometimes, look, we're a culture, sometimes we're busy, sometimes we don't feel like we have time for ourselves, much less, to talk to somebody else. But I think it's important sometimes that we do slow down and we think about what we need to do as believers to spread the gospel and to not to deny Christ. If someone asks a question, that we just don't blow it off, that we give it an opportunity and we're able to tell them, about Jesus. Or, in that case, it was fairly subtle, because we were able to, point them to the channel and talk about it. And, of course, believe they were a believer. We didn't get that deep into it, but he was excited about the Christian aspects of it. Because, as many of you know, sometimes there's a stigma around, bars and cigar lounges that, Christians don't do this. But obviously they do. And, there's numerous people watching this channel right now. You're in that boat. You're a Christian, but yeah, you smoke cigars. And we're, of course, in that same boat. And, for us, it's wonderful to see kindred spirits. I will say this, that last week, we were actually able to go to Smokelahoma, which is a cigar convention here in Oklahoma City. And it was a fantastic experience. We were actually able to set up a table. If you're watching, you were there. Thank you for coming and talking to us. But it was a wonderful experience because the stories, they would come up and they would say, "What in the world is Cigar Church about?" And we'd be able to tell them, "Look, we talk about cigars and we talk about Jesus, our two favorite things." And, it was kind of a revelation to them that, hey, that exists. There's people out there that's actually combining these two things, and it's a wonderful thing. And some people were like, well, yeah, we have a Bible study and sometimes we smoke a cigar, and that's wonderful stuff. But, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, in life, always look for those opportunities to confess Christ and to lead people. Not, I'm not saying you have to, get down on your hands and knees and pray with them, even though that might happen. And if that does, great. Sometimes it's just about the seeds we sow. And you never know what those little seeds will do when, it could be a year down the road. So, always be that encourager. Try to find those opportunities. Like I say, we're not trying to beat anybody over the head with the gospel. We don't want to do that. That's not what Jesus told us to do. We're simply there to testify as to who Jesus is to us. And, as we do that, his gospel spreads and people go, you know what? I want that. Especially in, communities like cigar lounges, and bars and places, that we might find ourselves that, you wouldn't really think of, Christian spreading word. So, do that will. Obviously we're not reviewing cigars today, but thank you for joining us for this special episode of Cigar Church. And as always, smoke a fine cigar to the glory of God. See you next week.